James worked as a reconnaissance officer in the Lifeguards Regiment of the British Army and served alongside NATO forces in the Kosovo War in 1999. In 2002, he left his military career behind to focus on his true passion, music. James has gone on to release 6 studio albums and counts Brits, Ivor Novellas and MTV Awards among his many accolades. Staying true to his roots, James has used his voice and platform to support British military veterans in his role as a patron of charitable organisation Help for Heroes. Away from music, he's gained a huge social media following, arguably due to his hilarious comebacks to negative comments and self-deprecating humour displayed on Twitter. Broadening his horizons, James has moved into the hospitality sector, opening a string of businesses, including this pub in central London. And ever honouring his love of ale, he hosts Amazon Prime Video's reality challenge show, Beer Masters. In 2021, James released his greatest hits album, and in 2022, he embarked on a live tour, starting in Dubai, where I met him for the CNBC Conversation. What are you looking forward to most, James, about performing? I mean, we've had the pandemic. How refreshing is it to actually see people?
Yeah, I mean, I've been parked up really as a musician for a couple of years now. I mean, the pandemic is quite healthy in many ways, because where we celebrated musicians and actors for so long, called us celebrities, we got designated as non-essential through a pandemic. And more important people, doctors, nurses, teachers, supermarket workers, lorry drivers and farmers were designated as essential, and so we were put out to pasture for a couple of years. It's been amazing to be at home, and I've really appreciated that. But I'm really excited to be getting out on tour again. It's I have itchy fingers at home to start playing instruments, and it's really exciting.
And what have you learnt from the way the landscape has changed over the years?
When streaming came out, I think the record labels saw it as something to fight against, and that was completely wrong of them to do. It was something to be excited about. And as I say, for me, I can get my songs out so incredibly easily now, and that's really exciting. With other social media platforms, I can get my voice out without having to go through a publicist or a record label. I can get my voice heard through Twitter. I can just, hold up my phone and sing down it on TikTok, and weirdly, there seems to be an audience out there. I mean, you have to choose how much you give and how much you hold back. I'm a musician and a touring musician, and I love giving people music, and I really still like to retain my private life, and that is always a fine balance, and it's one that I struggle with over the years.
You famously served in the British Army before you found fame, and you went from that to suddenly everyone knowing who you were. How did you cope with that initially?
Well, I mean, some of it was amazing. I had incredible fun. I immediately started touring the world when I really should probably have only been touring North London, and I had an absolute blast, and I still do. I have a band, and we get out on the road. We're starting a world tour now, and my band have been with me and my crew for all of that time. And then you have incredible visibility, and some of that is great fun. I could get into nightclubs for free and jump the queue. That's all I ever wanted in life. And then there are other things that come aside that that are negative, having your phone hacked, and becoming paranoid about various relationships, things that come along with it. And at the end of the day, I think the balance is to have your friends and your family around you who can laugh with you and at you whenever you're taking yourself or it too seriously.
And as well as your music, you're also in the hospitality sector. You've got a pub, you've got a restaurant in the Alps. Why did you want to get involved?
Yeah, well, I think had I known that there was a pandemic, I probably would have averted being a musician and a pub owner too, because they're not the best business for a pandemic. And so obviously, we had to close the pub through that. But I absolutely love having a pub. It's called the Fox and Pheasant in Chelsea. It's 170 years old, and I bought it to stop it being turned into houses or apartments. And it's the best thing I've ever done, really. And although I started by trying to save 4 walls, when a pandemic hit, it became really quickly that actually the job was to look after the staff there and make sure they still had roofs over their heads. And we've come out of it at the end. The doors are open now. We have the same staff and everyone is thrilled to be back. And people come in through our door now with with a kind of real understanding, perhaps after a pandemic, that if you have time and money, it's best spent with friends and loved ones. And for that reason, our pub is very full at the moment, and it seems to be going well.